What's up? It's your boy Trucker Richie Rich, ones and twos, man. I ain't made a video in a little bit, and there's a reason. It's my birthday this week, and I'm just taking it easy, man. I just haven't had the energy to make one, but there's some things that I saw that I want to talk about real quick. And this is for really my new truck drivers going into the industry. This is also for my lease purchase guys going into the industry. And really for owner operators who've been just in the industry. I'm gonna say some hard truths. I'm not trying to start no beef with anybody, right? But there's two particular truck drivers I want to talk about. They have a platform on YouTube. And I wanted to say something a while ago, right? But I kind of bit my tongue a little bit because I don't want it to come off as me being a hater or negative or just not being supportive of people trying to make it out here. But see, there's a big problem in trucking. And young folks, you need to pay attention to this. As I got older, I started living by a creed, and my creed is a smart man learns from his mistakes. Yes, that's true. But a wiser man learns from the mistakes of others. Sometimes you got to say F your dream and you got to do what you got to do to support your family. And what I'm talking about is two truck drivers. One name is Trucker Todd, and the other guy is Rich Warren. Two of these truck drivers, I think, in my opinion, have made pretty bad, horrible decisions. And the problem is they're like everybody. Everybody makes these bad decisions in trucking because we chase the delusions of grandeur instead of really doing what's logical and what's right. And the reason I'm talking about this, right? So if you guys who don't know, you can look on YouTube and search up these truckers' names. One guy is Trucker Todd. I believe he's been driving for 25 years. And the other guy is Rich Warren. He's a former Walmart driver who decided to be an owner operator and go out and venture out. Now listen, I know we live in America, and if you want to be a business owner, go ahead and be a business owner. If you want to go ahead and do what you want to do because you're not hurting anybody, but I think these guys have made some pretty bad mistakes. And what I'm more concerned about is the younger people watching them, thinking that's the way to go. Oh, guys, I put my glasses on. I can't see. I'm sorry. I'm in my garage, so if there's a little echo in here, I'm in here target shooting. This is what I do when I'm bored. Hey, James. Hey, Penelope. How you doing? And Test. How you doing? But if you guys have been watching YouTube lately, and if you guys search Trucker Todd, he's an older gentleman who's been trucking for 25 years. And it seems to me like he's jumping out the fire into another fire and into another fire, okay? He recently got on with Trans Am Trucking. Now, look, you can work for anybody you want to work for. And I'm not saying that Richie Rich is always right. I am not 100% right all the time. But I am man enough and honorable enough to tell you when I'm wrong, okay? When I made a mistake. I've been trucking for 13 years now. And one of the biggest mistakes I think I made, because I've always told this story to you guys. The best years of my trucking only lasted for like 5 years, okay? Where I really made some really serious money. I'm talking where every week I was bringing in $3,000 to $4,000 a week as a lease operator, okay? That's when, to me, trucking was worth it. But that only lasted for about 4 to 5 years, okay? The rest of the time, being a lease operator, or trying to be an owner op was horrible financially, just devastating, okay? Where I went weeks and weeks without a paycheck, okay? And for some reason, that's an industry acceptable. You're supposed to do that. They call it business, but the truth is, when you look on the grand scheme of things, if Walmart or Walmart or Coca-Cola or any factory job out here went weeks and weeks without a paycheck, they would be closing down. But some reason, people instill that in truck drivers' mind that that's acceptable, okay, to go without a paycheck. Hey, Dom, how you doing, sir? But Trucker Ty went to work for Ari Garrison. And a few weeks ago, I made a video about Ari Garrison, how they are sort of like a scamish company. Okay, you have to say allegedly because the way the market is right now, people will sue over anything. Okay, but they're kind of they like to cut the rate cons up. If you guys watched some of my previous videos, you would have saw that a lot of my arguments and gripes with Ari Garrison was there was multiple people taking cuts of the pie. And I try to give a fair warning to people about going there. I'm not saying they're a horrible company, okay? They're really nice people, but sometimes the really nice people are the ones who screw you over the worst, okay? But Trucker Ty went over there, and it took him less than 5 months to understand that he was being ripped off. I think in his last video, he said that he was owed somewhere around $8,000. And you know what, Trucker Ty, that's true. So was I. So was a lot of drivers. I'm certain if we would form a class action lawsuit, okay, or if somebody did some seriously financial auditing of Ari Garrison's books, that we would be owed a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars, every driver who's gone there and has left. But see, unfortunately, this is the issue with truck drivers and getting justice. Unless it's severely gross, unless it's like civil rights infraction, unless it's something dealing with your personal civil rights or it's just grossly ignorant, do we ever really get justice out here? See, there's nobody who really has a truck driver's back out here. And the reason I say that is when I try to sue Advanced Trucking out of Indianapolis, I had a very, very hard time finding a lawyer to take the case. It's because they didn't have any assets that were worth going after. So it was a big problem there, suing these trucking companies when you don't know if they have assets, and a lot of lawyers wanted money up front before you even sue them. Okay, but Trucker Todd, to me, it seems like he made another mistake. And he went to go work for another mega carrier, Trans Am Trucking. Oh, Jesus, man. That's going to probably end the same way too, I encourage you young folks, right, who watch my channel, who are interested in becoming truck drivers. Here's the deal, okay? If you keep your CDL clean and you keep your accidents and tickets low, you can get a job anywhere. But does that mean you should? No, because a lot of these companies will just really abuse and use you, okay? And then at the end of the day, you're left holding the bag. And before you know it, 10, 12, 13, 25 years have passed you by. So you got to be really smart and articulate when it comes to planning your career in trucking. This is why I really encourage people who follow me to really leave those mega carriers alone and start finding private fleets to go work for, okay? Places that have opportunities for you to invest in your retirement, invest in your health care, invest in your future, okay? Because I remember when I came into this industry, right? And I sit in the truck stop at the TA and Pilot and Flying J, and back in the day when we used to talk, I used to listen to guys say, yeah, I've been driving 40 years, I've been driving 30 years, I've been driving 25 years. And a thought came into my head like, well, why are you still driving? Like, what sense does that make? Like, why aren't you retired and enjoying your life, okay? Why are you still behind the wheel driving a truck over the country? And it's because of folks like Trucker Todd and Rich Warren, which I'll get into him in 1 minute. Hey, Mr. Grove, Bahamas. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's people like that, right, that encourage other people to jump on to these mega carriers who just want to use you and not really invest in your future. I'll catch up with the comments in a moment, y'all. But yeah, you're right. Truck Talk, you're 100% right. A lot of guys, listen to these guys talking about come to these mega carriers. Come to Trans Am, come to, Prime, come to Stevens. And these companies do not invest in your future at all, at all. Now, listen, I'm not saying that I work for the best company in the world. I'm not going to say that, okay? But one thing they do offer is an opportunity for you to put some money away, to invest, to have a 401k, to have good health insurance, to be able to take care of yourself, okay? And a lot of these Trans Am lease purchasing companies, USA, I mean, you're just a number going through the ropes of life over there. It's bad. It's a bad ideal. And that's why, I encourage you folks, look, it ain't gotta be Tyson. It could be Walmart. It could be the post office. It could be UPS. Right now, UPS is offering drivers who have over a certain amount of time a buyout. Okay? They're offering a $150,000 buyout on top of their retirement. Okay? What mega carrier is doing that? None. None. I'm gonna tell you guys, it's just, I'm not talking bad about Trucker Todd. I mean, I don't know the man other than on social media, but God, it seemed like he jumped out the fire pan into the fryer again. Like he keeps jumping into this stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, guys. You know, it's just a horrible idea that he's doing. Now, here, let me talk about this other guy, right? And what he did is completely insanity. His name is Rich Warren. If you look at his YouTube channel, it says Rich Warren, Warne, former Walmart driver. The reason I know Rich, I don't know him personally, but the reason I know of his channel is because when I was trying to get on with Walmart, he gave a lot of great information about it. And he was giving information about how to pass the onboarding, what to expect for his pay. Just like, he gave great information. Not only that, I think he made good money over there. And then one day, right, he wakes up and he says, I want to be an owner operator. But Mr. Warren, there's a chapter in the book of life that says, F your dreams, sir. And the reason I say that, right, because you can don't mean you should, okay? And this guy jumped out there, it became an owner operator, bought a piece of truck, and he's pulling loads for TQL. You can't make this shit up. And see, I was listening to him talking about his gross, right? He said he grossed around $4,600 a week, $56, even $6,000 a week. He said he grossed, right? But how much is he bringing home? See, you gotta understand, you have an older truck, so you gotta put a lot of money away from maintenance, okay? Because maintenance on an older truck is no joke. Not to mention, unfortunately, when you're a little guy, right? The fuel discounts that you get, like the fuel discounts that you might have gotten at Prime, or you might have gotten at like Walmart or the big Fortune 500 trucking companies,